What is the benefits of outsourcing to a virtual assistant? I want to be able to give you some information I think is very important for those who are considering outsourcing parts of their business to a virtual assistant, having maybe never had a virtual assistant before, or maybe having had a virtual assistant before and the experience didn't go very well. So, let me explain to you some of the wonderful benefits of working with a virtual assistant in your business. What is outsourcing? So basically, outsourcing is taking either a specific task that you're doing and giving it to a third party, or even a whole department that you have. Let's say you have a call answering department within your business, you could pretty much outsource that whole entire department to a third party. Now, who that third party is entirely up to you. Outsourcing, it could be to a whole team of people in a whole other country. It could be to an established, really established business who focuses on that one specific area of your business, and you can literally pick up your whole business and give it to them. You can white label another company. So, for example, like what I've just said, you could have a call answering company, and you could pretty much take that whole section of the call answering and pretty much give that to another business who has that whole setup, that whole operation, all their systems already in place, and give that to them. With regards to outsourcing to a virtual assistant team, either a team or a specific individual, it all depends on how your specific business is set up. But for example, if you wanted to outsource a specific, element of your business, a small part of your business, you could give that to maybe one individual. Or if you have like a whole department in your business that you're thinking it would be better outsourced to a third party virtual assistant, then you can do that. Obviously, it all depends on how the business is set up, but it could be a real advantage for you. The first advantage is time. You're actually able to save so much time when working with a virtual assistant. Obviously, outsourcing to an external party can obviously have its challenges and disadvantages, but ultimately the main advantage is you're able to get more time. Once a virtual assistant knows exactly what they're doing, how they work in the business, what it is they need to do, you are then able to free up that part of time that you took to do that specific task or that specific department in your business, and you're able to free up time to do something else. You may have had some staff members that was doing that specific task or doing that, running that specific department in your business. Now you've handed that section over to a virtual assistant team, and you're able to free up so much more time. All those people that you had in your business or yourself that was looking after that specific task or that specific section of time, that specific section of business, you're now able to free up all those people and use them or yourself to do something else that generates more money in your business, something else that you enjoy doing in your business. Ultimately, you've basically bought yourself more time by outsourcing to a virtual assistant. Now, if you weren't aware, I am Tanya Day. I'm actually a virtual assistant myself. I've worked with many people within the property industry, those being property managers, estate agents, architects, interior designers, all sorts of different people within the property industry, and I really, really enjoy it. There's a difference obviously between a virtual assistant and an online business manager. I have been both. A virtual assistant obviously just takes tasks, and sometimes they require a manager because they're a bit more reactive. They work off, the type of task they're given until they're given another set of tasks. An online business manager is a bit more proactive. They get more involved in the business. They can come more as a managerial level. They understand more about the ins and outs of your business, how it's structured, how it works. They give you, ideas and systems and things they can do to improve your business. So if you're needing any assistance, please send me an email. My name is Tanya Day. Email address is tanya@clearviewadministration.co.uk. Another advantage of outsourcing parts of your business or tasks to a virtual assistant is they have systems set up already to get going with your specific task or your department. Now, let's just say, for example, you have a manager in your business, and you have a whole secretarial pool of people within your business that take care of your team. Now, what can happen is if you have a virtual assistant team, let's just say 3 or 4 virtual assistants in another country, or within your same country, but they've set up systems and everything set up already. You can literally have your team of people doing something entirely different, and the whole section of work can be given to the virtual assistant team. Now, the wonderful thing about having a virtual system team, or having an individual virtual assistant team, is they will have the systems, they'll have the people, they'll have the setup already. You just give literally tell them how you want it done, and you give it to them, and it's all done. The only difference is if you give it to an individual, generally you have to pay for all of the systems. They should obviously have everything already set up from where they're working from, depending on where they are in the world. But they obviously have a PC, they have headsets, they'll have, sometimes they have their own software. But ultimately, you're probably paying for their software that they're using because they literally are maybe a one-man band. So that may be the difference between outsourcing to an individual and outsourcing to a larger company. But ultimately, it's all about working with their systems and implementing what you have into their structure and taking it entirely out of your business. So that is one good advantage for you. It could be cheaper to have a virtual assistant or virtual assistant team looking after a task or a whole department of your business. The reason being, if you were to have international virtual assistants, depending on where you are in the world, I'm based in the UK, but if we get a virtual assistant individual from the Philippines or a virtual assistant team in the Philippines, it will be a lot cheaper for that individual person or that individual company to hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines as opposed to having an employee based in the UK. Now, obviously, if you have an employee based in the UK, you've got to pay, PAYE, national insurance and taxes, and now we obviously have to have a pension scheme set up. Obviously, if you have a person working in your office, you've got to give them, a specific a desk, an ergonomical seat, monitors, computers, software. They've got to have a specific allocated amount of holiday a year. They need to have specific training. You need to have the right office environment for them to sit in. There's lots of different, things that are needed to have a member of staff working with you, and obviously you need to have a specific type of insurance as well. So, and your budget needs to be, a bit more hefty, should I say, to have an employed member of staff. Whereas if you're having a virtual assistant person or a virtual assistant team, depending on where they are in the world, immediately they work out to be a lot cheaper because you don't have to provide them a physical environment to work from. You're working from, two different locations. You can either have a team that work in the night times, in the morning when you come to work, all the work is done, or you can literally get them to work at your same time zone. So in terms of getting the work done, the work can be done at a fraction of a cost. They can work pretty much 24 hours a day, all the way around the clock. You're not paying for virtual assistants time for them to go and make teas and coffees, and you're literally sometimes just paying just for the time that they're sitting working in your specific business. Sometimes you may have to pay for systems depending on how specialist the systems are. If the virtual assistant is used to working within those systems, even the training time is shorter. The actual onboarding time is shorter and quicker, and they can get going a lot quicker than employing a member of staff that may have never worked in the industry before. You have to pay for all that training time. So definitely cost is a major factor when people consider getting a virtual assistant as opposed to an employee. I don't say this often enough, but I really appreciate it if you subscribe to this video. I make videos pretty much every day, and I really love to hear from you. Is there any specific videos you'd like me to make with regards to how I can assist you in your property business? Is there anything else you'd like to know? Please watch the next video because there's so much more I'd like to share with you, and there's so much information and hints and tips that you can learn from a virtual assistant perspective. Thank you.